Well, hi guys, welcome to another day. I've got Sunbury today. It seems that's all I've got. Now, the last couple of days, you'll have obviously seen the vlogs by now, but whatever, I'm going to say something. I haven't been able to do anything because I've been in this site. I was in this site on the Thursday where I did the Avonmouth. The Friday, can't remember what I had now. Hold on a second. Little blue book, you see, comes in handy. Oh yeah, I had a cold chest of Wellingborough. I got home and downloaded all the bits and bobs because I didn't really have the time to do any editing. So the Avonmouth hadn't been done, that was a Thursday run. And Friday's one, I was just downloading the stuff because I was in a different company following day. But starting earlier. You see, that's what's been happening. I've been starting at a certain time and then earlier, and today I've started later. So it's kind of balanced itself out. But I've got a 14-hour day at the other place. So it kind of knackered itself. But the Friday stuff I downloaded, I don't know whether the microphone had come loose or what. I don't even know whether it's working at the moment. Ooh, it was crap. It just wrote everything off. So there is nothing for the Friday one. And because I haven't had the time in between the shifts, I haven't been able to do any editing, which is why there hasn't been anything for a few days. Now obviously you guys will have seen the last two, so this is going to make virtually no sense. But I'm explaining it now, just so as you're aware. Because today is a Sunday. I have a Sunbury, like I said, I think. I can't even remember at the moment, I'm just so tired. I did, well, paid last week, and last week for me was yesterday. This is, Sunday is the beginning of my next week. 61.5 hours paid last week. That's 67 hours in total, roughly. Hold on a minute. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 65 hours. Sorry, tell a lie. 65 hours in total. And then of course I've got my commuting as well, and that's an hour and 15 minutes each way. So that's 2.5 hours. So as you can see, I've had quite a fantastically busy week, which is why I haven't been doing anything. The paperwork isn't ready today, so I've been sent to check my unit. I've been sent to go get the keys because Sunbury's a drop and drive. I'm meeting someone down there, God knows who. Haven't done Sunbury in a dog's age. So I'll get my Prat Nav out. Yes, I know it's a Prat Nav. Yes, I'm a Prat. But should be an interesting day. Hopefully this is all I've got. Now I know that's odd. I need to do the hours. But you see, I did need to do the hours. When I was trying to get all my HMRC and everything into the business account, I had to do the hours. I just had to keep going. I just head down, go for it. Everything had gone wrong. I needed to just push. Well, I've gone past that line now. I'm past it. I can now start thinking, I don't mind if it's a short day. I'm there. It's quite a nice feeling. I'm not debt free, obviously, not by a long stretch. I should keep pushing until then, but if I do that, that's going to be 2 years non-stop. I've just done that. Well, 2.5 years up until those 2 weeks off. But anyway, I suppose I should finish off doing all my checks, all my bits and bobs, put my card in, go get the keys and the phone, and bugger off to Sunbury. Hopefully that's all I've got. And then I can edit everything tonight, and everything's in place. I don't have to worry. I've got 2 days off this week, Monday and Tuesday. Monday I am working on business venture. I may make some material of me sodding about, printing some bits off, you know, usual kind of crap. Probably me with a beer. Got to be done. And Tuesday, well, that's mine and Bert's day off now because she's changed jobs again. Obviously she's going through the management thing, and she has Sundays and Tuesdays off now. So Tuesday is now mine and Bert's day. But anyway, I'm going to crack on and I shall see you a bit later. Well, hi guys. Bit of a change in the day. I was all set up, all ready to go, all lovely jubbly, and they'd forgotten to put a pallet on the vehicle, on the trailer. So put it on the dock, went back in to wait, as you do. And another driver came in, and they gave him what is usually my Sunday run, Didcot, Wellingborough. And he said, well, I'm starting at 10 tomorrow, so you've got to be careful. I probably won't be able to start at 10, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And so I just turned around and I said, well look, I'm not working tomorrow, so why don't you give me his run and he can do my run. And he was like, that's a good idea, Dave. Yeah. So now I've got Didcot, Wellingborough. I started at 12, it's now 2 o'clock, so I've got a couple of extra hours. And I've got to start, because they gave him my unit, and I always do absolutely everything, clean everything, do the mirrors, the windshield, absolutely everything. And so now I've got to do it all again in this one. But I managed to wangle another large Actros, because obviously it's a Sunday and they've got all the vehicles parked up, so I just go around and I have a check and see which one looks like it's actually been defected when it needs to have been, you know. Usually I'm spot on. Sometimes there's the odd bulb that's out, but whatever. But yeah, I better start my day again. Oh, how much joy is that? So I've got to add all my POA together, because I had 22 minutes, and now I've just been through all this carnage waiting for this, and so let's have a shufty. Let's do that, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. Happy jubbly. Bang it on there, then I get to see how many minutes it was. Right, I suppose I should get cleaning, because everything's all filthy. The windshield's not too bad actually, it's alright, that's passable. And I got a fridge box, so I don't have to worry about straps or cords or extra seals or anything like that, so that's a bonus. But yeah, 2 hours, I still haven't started yet. I'm not complaining, it's Sunday rate, I'm happy as Larry. Anyway, I shall try again, see you a bit later on. made it to Didcot. Done that, lovely jubbly, nice and easy, no hold-ups. Well, it's nearly 5 PM now, so I shouldn't have any hold-ups at all. It should be plain sailing all the way there, lovely jubbly. But anyway, back in an Actros after yesterday's FH adventures. Now, I did get sent out again, which is why I had such a long day yesterday. Now, I remember I did say that I probably wouldn't get sent out. Well, I did. I got sent to Southall. And the thing is, I've been... Hold on, I shall tell you exactly. I have been 40,940 kilograms. So that's 41 tonne, basically. All I need is another Greggs and we'll be there. And I've done 9.2 miles per gallon in this. Now, yesterday I was in the FH. Now that was a 6.3 plate, this is a 6.3 plate. I believe it was a 6.3 plate. I'll just double check, make absolutely certain. Yes, it was a 6.3. And this is a 63 as well. And that one had done 338,000, this one's done 489,000. So this has done far more. And all I was doing yesterday, I went down to the Thames side depot and then I went to Southall. I came back to the yard, obviously thought I'd ended my day, hadn't. And that entire day I amassed 9.1 miles per gallon. And I didn't really get held up anywhere. There was no real stop-start until kind of the Blackwall Tunnel style area, the end of the 406 and Blackwall Tunnel. Nothing major. Now, you guys have been with me before now when I've done that kind of a run in this, because we've got places we go to over there. And these are generally always over 10. By the end of the day, this is probably going to be 10 point something. And I'm virtually 41 tonne. Well, there's a comparison right there. 41 tonne, all the way down here, with the hills and everything that you get on the 34 and the M4 and everything like that, I'm still doing 9.2. The FH, and that's a 460, this is a 450. That was 9.1 all day. And I wasn't really pushing it yesterday. I mean, you can't, not with those vehicles, they're all limited to 52. So you can't. You just can't. And they've all got the obviously the I shift and the overspeed, and you can't really do anything with that. Well, you can increase it, but you can't really decrease it, so not by anything major. But anyway, I thought I would do a compare and contrast. You see, although the Volvo has the I shift, and the I shift is phenomenally good, it is the best truck gearbox for an automatic ever. It is phenomenally good. Outside of that, I was losing speed going uphill when I was empty. You know, it's a bit, really? And the seating position in them, it's kind of, the steering wheel will go kind of there, and you're there. And really and truthfully, you want to be back there, and you want the steering wheel to be there. It's all weird, and these things are far more finished as far as I'm concerned. There's more. What I shall do it's just, I mean, you saw obviously yesterday with the interior thing that I did with the camera. It's just, this is a fleet spec, okay? This entire thing is fleet spec, same as the FH. The only difference is the FH didn't have a bunk, it had seats. But the buttons are just better finished. The entire thing is just, it's like somebody's actually tried to design something. And the thing is, if you remember from the Volvo yesterday, the I-shift was about there. Well, above the I-shift is an armrest, exactly the same as the armrest here, but a lot thinner. The armrest in the Volvo is about that thick. And the I-shift happens to be below it. So as you can imagine, when you're going for it, I'll just stop that, there we go. When you're going for it, you end up kind of going, you got to go around there, you've got to go through the armrest. Whereas in this, it's on that side of the steering wheel. And the stalk that has the gear selector in it is your continuous brake and your manual up and down. Well, I hate to tell you, but the I-shift is not into the gearbox. It's not a manual. It doesn't go into the gearbox and you don't move cogs when you change it about. It's a selector into a box, into a wire that goes into the ECU that then changes the gear. It's the same as this. Why is it there? Why is it not there? It's like with the DAFs and the MANs with the switch that's very much like the light switches in most things these days, down there. Why? It makes no sense. There's always something in the way. And I'm just going through the reasons why I prefer Mercedes to Volvo, or these particular Mercedes. Please, please understand, the baby Actroses we have are hate-filled. They are absolutely hate-filled. They're just crap. They are. The only thing they've got going for them is the seating position, which is basically exactly the same as this. But outside of that, suspension's too solid, so when you hit a bump, it's properly, oh, why did that happen? And they're just, they won't change below 6, ever, unless you stop. That is a pain. But to be fair, the entire driver comfort thing in a Merc is always pretty much top notch. And I think the issue is that when people talk about Volvo, Scania, things like that, they're talking about the big ones. They're talking about those beautiful 500, 600, 700 horsepower versions, kind of the owner operate ones, the top of the mark, top of the market ones, the proper ones. Well, that's fine. I mean, when it comes to those, your Scania V8s, your big 700 horsepower FHs, they are phenomenal vehicles. They are great. They are brilliant. They're as high as you can go. But in general, if you're going to be agency guy or if you're going to work for a blue chip company, you're not going to have them. You're going to have fleet spec. And this is essentially fleet spec. Okay, it's a larger one. It's not the baby dinky ones that most blue chip companies do use these days. But it's fleet spec. And unfortunately I've driven Scania on fleet spec for Argos. Yeah, I've driven Volvo FH and FMs on fleet spec for the people I was driving for yesterday. If you follow me on Twitter, you know who they are. If you don't, tough. Mercedes beat them. They just do. It feels properly finished. The armrest isn't an afterthought. It's not some thin little slither. It's an armrest. You don't have to go round it or under it or behind it or anything like that to go find a gear. You don't have to go all the way down there and turn it like you do in an MAN or something like that. It's thought through. And at fleet spec level, which is the majority of the trucks that we drive, other than the gearbox being, it is pants. The gearboxes in Mercs are pants. Even in this one, I've got used to the Euro5 versions, these version gearboxes, so I know when to flick the gear. Whereas in the baby ones, the Euro6s, they override you. But other than the gearbox being crap, it is. I'm sorry, it is. These are perfectly fine. These are absolutely spot on for being fleet spec. I mean, in comparison to those big old Scania V8s, the proper jobs. Oh, this is pants. In comparison to the FH that Luke Vernon's driving around in, that everybody thinks of when they think Volvo. Oh yeah, this is diabolical. But what Luke Vernon drives around in, and what owner-operators with a big V8 Scanish drive around in, is not what you're going to find on a fleet. This is what you're going to find on a fleet if you are lucky. Everything else is going to be the Actros, the little FMs, the MANs, tiny things, the Stralis Ivecos. They're not going to be immense vehicles, and unfortunately for, like I said, the other companies, space, layout, quality of the finish, these have them. They really do. I mean, I will say one thing, the doors on all trucks are very heavy, so if you leave them open, eventually what occurs is the hinges drop, and when you go to open them, you get that. But that happens on virtually all trucks, to be fair. The drivers leave the doors open for however long, and these doors are really heavy. They really are. When you've got all the cabins in, absolutely everything, even when they're stripped down, they are phenomenally heavy. And the only things holding them are those hinges when they're left open, and eventually they just go gunk and they sink. But such is life. It happens on cars as well. But I mean, the reason I like these is because they always have an air of thought through. Okay, like I said, the gearbox is cack, but where the stalk is there. Your continuous brake, your gear selector, your actual manual override gear selector, everything is on the same stalk. You don't have to fight an armrest to get to it. It's logical. But then again, that's my personal preference. That is all it is. It is my personal preference. But anyway, I suppose I should go and see how my load onto Wellingborough is getting on, and see you a bit later on. Well, made it to Wellingborough. And when you're on Sunday rate, and you turn up to a site, just as the managers are coming in, and the manager looks at you because they've got no loads for you, and he says, "How long you got, drive?" All you think is, ka-ching! It's like, lovely jubbly. It's, what time is it now? It is, well, I turned up at 9, it's now 9:21. And he said, "Oh, I'll come back in about 10:30ish, see how I'm getting on." Because their staff had just turned up and they've got 9 loads. And a couple of trailers on the bays, but a lot of empty bays. So they're just going to load a trailer, and when it's done, job's a good one. I started at 12, so I've got hours left yet. It's Sunday rate. Now I know there's going to be a few people wanting to have words with me because of what I said about gear selectors being down there, and Scania do have something similar. But I don't know, it's personal preference at the end of the day when it comes to units, and I just like the way these are laid out. They just seem logical, if that makes sense. It's like everything is there. I've got into units before now, and I've been looking, thinking, where's that gone? I know what symbol I'm looking for, but I can't, where's it gone? Where you go? And it's down there somewhere. And you're sitting there thinking, what? But no, these just make sense. I mean, the smaller ones, a couple of buttons have moved, obviously, because the dash has shrunk. But they're all right. But I don't know. It's personal preference. It's personal preference. Oh dear. But remember, I got into, because the place I was working for yesterday, they run Volvos, and they've got Volvos of all different ages. And they had some of the newer ones. This was back in 2014-15, when the facelifted Volvos came out. And they had a few turn up. Obviously they've still got them. And I wandered in, and it was literally brand new. It was 30,000 kilometres on it, something like that, I can't remember now. But I got issued the keys, and I thought, well, job's a good one. I'm not going to say a damn word about being signed off on them. It's a new one, lovely lovely. And I wandered out to the unit, and got in it, set everything up, put my card in, and I wasn't really thinking. I was just going through the motions, you know, bung your card in, do the paperwork, check the service week, check all the whistles and bells, and everything was pretty much exactly the same. And then a driver turned up and got into the unit behind, because they park them one in front of the other. And I was ready to go. I was thinking, right, let's go. Where's the eye shifter? I looked for the stalk, I looked here, I looked there, I was like, where's it gone? And I'm just thinking, no, where is it? And of course, in those vehicles, they've got the isotrack things there, or set down, or set up, wherever they've bolted it to the dash. And you're going to be hearing some, that mic is probably picking up some hissing and whistling in the background. That was the cab heater was on. I've just turned it off because it's warm enough. But it was set there, and I'm thinking, well, how the hell do I? And I'm trying to figure out how to move it, and well, I know that's the button for the handbrake, and I know that's this, and I found that. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, well, how do I move it? I'm looking down here for the gears, I'm looking down there, right. 3 buttons along the dash at the top. The isotrack's there style thing, 3 buttons are there, so it's kind of almost on top of it. A, N, R. This is what I'm talking about, logical. You know, I can understand gear selectors being there, where the gear stick would be. I can understand them being here. Fine. But who puts gear selectors in the dash there? Who does that? And this has always been one of my issues with Volvo. Although Volvo are exceptionally good vehicles, they are good, they're very good vehicles, they're very good workhorses, I'm not going to say anything against them like that. They're always trying to reinvent the wheel. They're always trying to do that next thing. And sometimes they really don't need to. I mean, if you're going to redesign where you put your eye shift, where you put a gear selector, and put it behind the steering wheel. Your continuous brake is behind the steering wheel. You've got your indicators on that side. You've got your wiper mechanism on that side. And just above the wiper mechanism is your continuous brake. Your exhaust brake, your Jake brake, however you want to refer to it. And you've got a combination of different buttons for your cruise control. For example, on that side, you've got your cruise control. On that side, on the continuous brake, the Jake brake, you've got the plus and minus for the overspeed. And on that side, you've got the plus and minus for the speed increase. So it's all kind of higgledy-piggledy. It's like everything to do with the cruise control, like your overspeed and stuff. One's one side, one's the other side, and it's what's her? So you're always kind of, hold on. So if you're going to redesign where you put the gears, why not create like Mercedes have done, and I believe certain Scanias have the same thing. So where you've got a continuous brake, gear selector, and everything there. And then if you want to do the overspeed in a different place, obviously with a Mercedes you've got a button on next to your set on your cruise control and stuff. Now you've all seen the steering wheel before, I'm not going to show you again, and I'm using my phone as another light. You've got a button, you press that, up it comes, and then you can go down on those buttons. Fine, easy. You're driving along, you can hit it with your thumb, nice and easy. If any of you guys game, easy driving one of these things. If you're used to analog sticks, easy. But it's Volvo have always tried to redefine the wheel so many times, and okay, they got it right with the automatic gearbox. The I-Shift is genius. I believe they were the first ones to extend the cab and put a bunk in the back instead of you having to go upstairs. And I believe they were the first ones to do a night heater, so they nailed it those times. But they just keep altering things, changing things. Let's make it like this, let's do that. And they put things in odd places. And you're like, why is that there? Because this is the thing with the fleet spec vehicle that designers have to take into account. Companies will use various tracking things, ISO-track or micro-lies, things for tracking how you drive, all kinds of weird and wonderful things. And they'll use, a lot of companies these days have, like the ISO-track screen. I'm sure you've seen it in one of my vlogs where I showed you an old one that was left in the silver Actros that we've got. And they attach it, boom, to the dash. And it's always kind of there, and it's a reasonable size. I think, put it in, done. And they put it there, they put it here, they put it somewhere where you can easily get to it. But the thing is, if there's loads of buttons there, they're going to put it over the buttons. And the amount of places that have done that, because they might mount it on there to begin with, but then some dopey driver knocks it off and just smashes everything, and there's nowhere to put it because of wiring under there or whatever. So then they have to put it somewhere else, and they have to put it somewhere else, and then eventually it covers all the buttons that you need. And yeah, and if you put in, you know, if you cover some pointless button that nobody ever uses, like kind of a roll button if you get stuck, I mean, you can roll these without needing that button. So if you cover something like that, fine, whatever. But you put the gears up there. It's just little things like that, little niggles. But then again, it's personal preference, it's whatever you wish, but I personally like these. But yes, to each their own. I'm sure there are drivers out there who are like, oh yes, but such and such and such and such is a great vehicle. Yes, okay, such and such and such and such is a great vehicle. Is it fleet spec? Well, no. There you go. But this is going to be fun for me because I've now just got to wait here. I'm watching. Every so often another member of staff goes wandering in, and another member of staff goes wandering in, because I think they start at 10, but they start coming in dribs and drabs early. I mean, the management team first, and then certain workers who just want to get started and sorted, and they just come wandering in, and then another one. You just sit there thinking, you really don't want to be here, do you? Whereas little old me, I'm happy. But anyway, I suppose I should answer a few messages I've got on my old blower where phone's there. I'm using it as a light, you soppy bastard. I just went to look for my phone, I'm using it as a light. I worry myself sometimes, I really do. But anyway, to be fair, I think I've prattled on long enough today. I've announced my love for these vehicles enough times. But oh dear, it's just, I just like them. I just like them. I remember, I'm going to prattle on a bit longer. I don't care, I've got time to waste, boo-hoo. I remember I was working for the company I was working for yesterday, and this was about second year into driving. And when it comes up to Christmas, they hire in extra units. Now usually these are dogs. These are the vehicles that a company has finished with. They've upgraded and they are proper dogs. And it was the first year I was there, the first Christmas I did, they had some, what colour, it was a red, but it was a radiant red, kind of thing kind of colour on these Actros, and these things had 800 to 1,000,000 kilometres on them, and they were horrible, absolutely mangled. Oh, nasty as sin. And the second year they did roughly the same thing, but with DAF CFs, and these things were, every time you started them they just blew smoke, surrounded you, you know. They were knackered. They were 1.5 million, I think they'd been used on kind of like a Howden style thing, you know, joinery and all that kind of stuff, and ooh, they were nasty. But they had a couple of Actroses in, a couple of big 25-45s, and they were the ones predating the one I'm sitting in. And they had a couple of dark burgundy ones, but smaller cabs. Now those ones had a clutch. They were auto, but you had a clutch. Oh, they were genius. Oh, they were the greatest driving things I've ever driven. Even now I wish they'd get them. I wish somewhere would hire one in again just so I can drive it. They're massively out of date now. But they had a clutch, and oh, the joys of having a clutch. And I got issued with this burgundy one. Everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. And I got issued with it, and I found out why. And the following day I was issued with one of the tall, older Actroses. And it even had the fake wood in it. And it was clearly one that had been used to be lived in, but it only had like 600,000 kilometres on it, so it was actually relatively good. And I took it on the day out, and I loved it. Everybody else hated it. Everybody hated it. But I loved it. And it got to the point where for about 2 weeks I had the same unit, because nobody else wanted to drive it. Nobody else wanted to use it. And for about 2 weeks I had the same unit every single day. And it was literally where I'd left it, because everybody, all their drivers would go, oh, I don't enjoy that. But it wasn't an Actros, it was an Actros, and everybody on that site had had issues with Actros from previous years where they'd been hired the knackered ones, and they just saw a Mercedes and said, oh, it's the same, it's crap, it's meh. It was brilliant. I loved it. And then of course went a couple more years and I ended up in the company I'm rolling for today, and they had these ones. And they were virtually new, and I thought, oh, I get to experience a new 25-45 Actros. It's genius, absolutely great. If you don't mind the extra stair and walloping your knee, wait, that's one thing. That is one thing with these. The stairs are like that to the cab style thing. And you're climbing up. If you don't lean further enough back, you wallop your left knee every single time on that top step. I've got a bruise on there that never goes anywhere. But anyway, I have dragged this on long enough now, so I'm not going to bore you any longer. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share about, do whatever it is you usually do. I'll see you in the next one. Probably make something tomorrow. I don't know yet. But anyway, catch you later, guys.